Today we will learn about the Angular material. Okay. Yeah. Some of the companies use this Angular materials so that everything HTML styling will be auto built in this library. Okay. We need to import this library and then we can use what are all the things available in this library. Okay. For example, if you use one tag called mat tag, and this tag is provided by the Angular material. Okay. If we are using the mat card, it will be display like this. Okay, if you want to display any card or something like this, then we use one tag called mat tag. Okay, and in this you can provide some title, subtitle, content and all. Let me show an overview, some examples. Okay, so this is one mat card. If you can see here, this is one mat card, and let me show the code for you. See, there is one mat card, and mat card title is action buttons. Okay, and let me just show you. Let it load. We'll wait for a few minutes. How to create custom directives in Angular?
At the rate of directives.
So we will create one file, directive.ps. Which decorator is used?
At the rate of directive.
What will be provided in that directive?
Element references.
Some selector name will be present in the directive. Okay. Apart from
Select export and class.
we'll have the class. And what does wherever we are applying this name of the directive for any HTML element, what we will get? That complete HTML element reference we will get, and whatever we want to do, we can do it. Am I correct? What are structural?
Yes, Anush.
Anisha?
What are structural directives?
NG for NG.
Star NG. Star NG.
What are auth guards in Angular? Auth guards in Angular.
Gods.
Auth guards. If you people remember, I said something like can activate.
Yeah, can activate.
Can activate route guards, I have told, right? What are they?
Boolean you use it, can activate method.
For what
You
we
will
are
pass
using,
the arguments.
for what we are using
Can,
that auth guards?
Anisha, can you repeat the question once?
For what purpose we are using that auth guards?
Authorization, for example, Amazon cards and SBI banks.
Okay.
Like it's for security purpose.
Security.
It will allow.
If you want to access any component, if whether that particular user has access or not, that can be checked by using the can activate. If the user has access, we can navigate to that component. Otherwise,
It can reject it.
It will not. It will
that component will not be loaded. Am I correct? Will not be able to see that component.
Sansha.
Okay. And what are services?
Sorry, Anusha, say ask the question again.
What are services?
It will any file that starts with the dot service.
Okay. For what purpose we are using services in Angular? For what purpose we will be using services? For making API calls, right? Do you remember? If two
Yes.
components are
Yeah,
there,
Anusha. Yeah.
if two components are making the same API call, instead of using the HTTP client and making the two same API calls in the two different components, instead what we will do, we will create one service. In that we will have one method. That method, we can inject the HTTP in the constructor, and we can do like this dot HTTP dot get of URL, and this service can be accessed into the component. We can inject it into the constructor and we can access it. Am I correct?
Sansha.
Can you repeat once more?
Yes,
What are services? Did you understand or shall I repeat it once more?
Can you repeat again, Anusha? Your voice is not that clear.
Okay. So when there are two components, okay, and if the two components are making the same API call, we are writing the same code, right, in the two components, which means it's a redundant code. Instead of writing a redundant code, what we can do, we can create one service using @injectable decorator, and our service will contain what? Services will contain methods. Am I correct?
Yes, Anusha.
In that method, we can make the HTTP client. Okay. This service, we can inject this into the two components and we can invoke the method which is making the API call. We can just subscribe to it and get the values from that method or the API call. So for this purpose, we are using services, and the way of injecting the services into the constructor of the component is known as dependency injection. Remember?
Yes, Anusha.
Okay. What? Why ng container is used for?
In one HTML component, same for loop, for and if conditions are not used at that time. We
Can't
use
use two attributes.
Okay. We cannot use both for star ngif and star
Star
ngif
ng for and star ng.
on the one HTML element. So for that purpose, we will be using something called
ng container.
ng container.
ng container.
Why? How ng template is used?
Else, if condition is not satisfied, else black we use
Then
it
else
for
block will like to execute
If
that else
condition
block
in
we
which
need to
file?
use that ng
If condition in
HTML.
which file? Normal if
ng.
condition.
Start ng.
When a star ng if condition is not satisfied in the HTML, if you want to include the else block, we can just give the reference of that else block using ng template. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And how to make API calls in Angular?
Using HTTP client.
Using HTTP client. Will you be injecting it, or without injection you will be directly consuming it?
We have to inject.
We have
Inject.
to inject that. Okay. And what are pipes in Angular?
Custom pipes and inbuilt pipes.
Okay. For what pipes are used? What is the purpose of pipes?
They use it to transfer data.
Transform the given data. Use
Given
to
data.
transform the given data. Examples of inbuilt pipes?
Lowercase, uppercase, and percentage.
Okay. How to create a custom pipe?
You name that pipe.ts file. First you have take it.
Okay.
After that,
You will create one file called sample.pipe.ts. Okay. And then
you will use at the rate of
okay, which decorator?
Pipe.
At the rate of pipe decorator is used. What will be present in at the rate of pipe?
name and pipe name.
Name and the pipe name. Okay. And what explain me the entire file. What will be there other than the decorator?
Export class name.
Okay.
And after that implements
Okay.
transform
Pipe
method.
transform interface. It implements on a pipe transform interface. And what method this pipe transform interface provide? Transform method. Wherever we are applying this pipe, that value will get transferred this to this transform method. You can do manipulations and you can just return it. Correct?
Yes, sir.
What is the use of async pipe?
Instead of subscribe, we use asynchronous in HTML.
Instead of doing the subscription in the TS file, Angular does the automatic subscription in the HTML using async pipe. Okay. What are behavior subjects in Angular?
Subject and behavior subjects.
Yeah. What are behavior subjects in Angular?
Where file name with subjects, a behavior subject. I mean variable name.
Observables.
What are behavior
It's like we have to go default value.
Okay. We can create one observable. We can create one behavior subject. Behavior subject is also nothing but an observable, but we need to give some default value for behavior subject. You need to tell each and everything what is there for behavior subject. How to get the value from a behavior subject?
Okay.
How to get the value from a behavior
It's
subject?
like we have to use dot value for current
Okay.
value.
Dot value will give us the exactly current value. But if whenever the change is there,
Dot subscribe.
dot subscribe
Dot
also
next.
is the latest value. Okay. And what is available on behavior subject so that we can update the next value?
Using dot next method.
Dot next.
Okay, very good. And now tell me completely what is behavior subject in Angular?
Behavior subjects are also called, I mean, they're also called observable.
Okay.
It is same as sample subject, but we have to declare a value.
We need to give some initial value. Okay.
We need to give some default value.
Okay.
And to get a current value of this behavior subject, we have to use dot value
Okay.
method
Okay. Dot value method. Okay.
to update.
You have to update the
We want
value
to
using
get
dot
that
next method.
update. We have to get dot next method.
Okay. Very good. Okay. And even using the async pipe, you can get the value of your behavior subject in the HTML. Okay. Understood, right?
Okay. Yes, Anshu.
Mm.
Yes, Anush.
What is an observable?
Same as subject and behavior subject.
Can you repeat it, Jansi? What?
We will use
Observable. Same as subject and behavior subject.
Observables or behavior subjects are both are used for asynchronous operations. Okay. Operations which are not synchronous, like making an API call and getting the response. Okay. Those are called as asynchronous operation because we doesn't know when we get the response whenever we are hitting some URL. How much time it will take to get the response. Okay. So observables are used for making an API call. They are lazy. Until we subscribe to them, we will not be getting the value from an observable. And we can cancel the subscription using what?
Asynchronous in HTML.
Unsubscribe. We can cancel the subscription using unsubscribe. I told you
we can get.
this dot observable dot
Yes, Anush.
if we are doing unsubscribe, we will be no longer receiving the updated values. Am I correct?
Yes, Anshu.
So observables are used for the asynchronous operation. In order to get the value from an observable, we need to subscribe to the data. Okay. Suppose if it is successful callback will execute. Suppose if there is an error callback will get execute. Okay. And observables are lazy. Until we subscribe to them, we will not get a value. We can cancel the subscription using unsubscribe. Any doubt?
Mm.
What are the life cycle hooks present in the Angular?
NG on in it.
Okay,
NG on changes. NG on in it. NG on destroy.
okay, okay. And then ng do check. Okay, ng on changes is the first life cycle hook. Ng on init, ng do check, ng on destroy. When ng on changes will get triggered,
If there is any changes,
change in
it will keep on triggering.
what change? What change, Teja? When is ng on changes life cycle hook will get triggered?
It is used for HTTP clients.
No, in ng on changes, we will not be doing that. It is used for specific purpose. Whenever data received from parent changes, ng on changes life cycle hook will get keep on triggering. Remember?
Triggering.
What?
Yes, Anusha, yes.
Whenever there is a change in the data received from the parent, then ng on changes life cycle hook will get triggered. When ng on init life cycle hook will get triggered?
Any changes in jail data?
It will trigger just once.
Once ng on init. And for what purpose we are using that? For what purpose we are using ng on init?
Initiate the values.
If we want to make any initializations or any API calls, we will be using ng on init lifecycle hook. Okay. And how many times will it get triggered?
Only one time.
What
Just
about
one.
ng on changes? How many times it will get triggered?
It will keep on triggering until if we have changes.
Whenever there was a change in data, it will be keep on triggering. Okay. And if you want to use ng on changes, what we should do? If you want to use ng on changes lifecycle hook in our component, what we should do?
We have to change the data.
What I said, if you want to use ng on changes lifecycle hook in a component, what are the first steps that we need to do?
So like decorator.
Decorator.
No.
Export class name implements ng on changes.
Our class has to implement on changes interface. Then we can use ng on changes method.
Yeah,
in
it should
our
be implement on
Okay.
interface.
Our class has to implement on changes interface. Then we can use ng on changes, okay, in our component. When if you want to use ng on init, then what we should do?
Export class
We have
name.
to implement that on init interface.
Our class has to implement on init interface. Then it will be provided ng on init method. What are the return types of this methods?
Void.
Void. Very good. Okay. And when is ng on destroy called?
We have to destroy any data.
Like any, what we call that?
When does ng on destroy lifecycle hook will get triggered?
I forget that name on this. We will get for each second.
Set interval.
Yeah, set intervals.
Okay, for setting, whenever the component is about to destroy, suppose if you are moving away from this component to another component in case of routing or so, then this ng on destroy lifecycle hook is called. This hook is basically used for the unsubscribing of observables or clearing the set intervals or in clearing of the set timeouts, anything available in that component. Okay. Understood?
Yes, Anisha.
Anisha, I'll ask one doubt.
Yeah.
When it comes to routing, we have paths and components, right? Each path will give, it will give each component. What if we have two paths? Is it possible to have two paths? And if we have only one single component, the second path will execute like how? Did you get what I mean?
I didn't completely understand your question. Can you repeat it once more?
We have paths and components, right?
Correct.
For routers.
Correct.
For each path, it's like first path will give first component.
Okay.
Is it possible to is it possible to have a two paths for one component?
No. Path is unique.
Alright,
And
okay.
should be single for every component.
Okay, Anusha, that's it.
Now what I was asking, ng on, now tell me, I just repeated, right? Now tell me, when is ng on destroy lifecycle hook got triggered? When we will be using that?
To clear set intervals.
Okay.
Set time.
Okay.
It's like if we are going from one, if we have to go to another page, it will still repeat, right? So to destroy that set intervals, we use that ng destroy.
I said whenever the component is about to destroy, we will be triggering ng on destroy lifecycle hook. Okay. Basically, we will be removing all the subscriptions and clearing the set intervals in the on destroy lifecycle hook. Understood, or shall I tell it once more?
Once more, Anisha, can you once more?
I said whenever the component is about to destroy means we are no longer showing that component in the web page. Whenever the component is about to destroy, okay, this ng on destroy lifecycle hook will get triggered. Basically, for doing unsubscriptions and for clearing the set interval, we will be using ng on destroy lifecycle hook.
Okay, Anisha.
Understood?
Yes, Anisha.
Can you repeat once more?
Whenever
What do you mean by component destroy?
whenever when a component about to destroy, we will execute
ng on destroy lifecycle hook will get triggered whenever the component is about to destroy. Okay. And
To
how
clear
do
the set intervals
yeah,
and do the unsubscribe method.
okay. And how do you do routing?
First, we have to declare the route component, path and component we have taken.
How do you do generally do routing?
Name that routing.ts file we have to.
for navigation.
So generally two kinds of routes will be available whenever you click on anchor links or something, or whenever you want to navigate from one component to another component from TS. Whenever you click on anchor link, there will be something present like router link where you need to give the path. And whatever path you are mentioning here, that relevant path and the component should be available in routing.module.ts file. Okay. Am I correct? Which
Yes,
file?
Anisha.
Yes, Anisha. Router.module.ts.
Okay. And if the path matches, the component will be shown. Otherwise, it will not be shown. An error will be thrown. How do we do routing from the component file? How do we do routing from the component file?
So like we have to take the first path for the first component.
Okay. You need to use something called router in your TS file. And that router, you need to inject in the constructor, and it will be like this dot router dot navigate method, where we will be giving the path of the component. That relevant path will be available in app routing module. Understood, or shall I repeat it once more?
Repeat it once more, Anisha. Your voice is
Okay. Suppose if you want to use routing in TS file, we need to import router, okay, from Angular routes. That router, you need to inject it into the constructor. Then there will be one method available. That method is called navigate. This dot route
Anisha,
dot.
can you repeat again?
Okay. Am I not audible?
Can you repeat again once more? It is, but
Okay. So if you want to use routing in Angular, that in TS file, you need to import router from the Angular router. That router, you need to inject it into the constructor.
There is again disturbance, Anusha.
Disturbance. Is Teja is only facing that or everyone is facing that issue? Actually, my
Don't-
Yes, we might you can't.
now, are you able to hear?
Yes, Anusha. Yeah.
I said we need to import router from Angular router. That router has to be injected into the constructor, and there will be one method available called navigate, where we will be giving the path. This dot router dot navigate of the path. That path should match with app routing module dot ts file routes. Any doubt?
No, Anusha.
Okay. What is a module? What is a module in Angular?
Module.
TS file.
What is the purpose of a
It
module?
contains
Declarations.
Okay.
Declarations providers.
Whatever components, pipes, services, decorators we have created, we need to provide them in the module so that then only we can show them. Okay. Modules are the fundamental building blocks. Okay. And which decorator you will be using for that?
at the rate.
At the rate?
Yeah, there is NG module.
At the rate of ng module decorator. Okay. And what are the stuff that will be present in the inside this ng module decorator?
Declarations.
Okay. What and all we can declare, we can give it in the declarations block?
All the TS file declarations.
What declaration? What kind of, what kind of things we will provide in the declaration block? What kind of things we will be providing in the declaration block? Components, we will be declaring. Pipes, we will be declaring them. Directives, we will be declaring them. Am I correct? And
Yes,
there
Anusha.
will be one section called imports. What does this import section contain?
Import the component and path we will give.
No, components you are already providing it in the declaration block, right? Then what does the import block contain? If you see here, exports is there. Tell me what will be present in the imports? It will import modules like
Yes, Anusha.
common module, browser module. I said, right, browser module. If a module is importing browser module, it is called as a root module. Correct? If a module is importing common module, it is called a common module. I said, right, there will be two types of modules present in the Angular. Root modules and the feature modules. Root module will be only one, whereas other all modules are feature modules. And a root module will import browser module, whereas other modules import common module. Understood? If you see the app module here, you see here browser module is imported. Imports browser module, forms module, HTTP clients module, okay, reactive forms module, okay. Only modules can be imported and exported. Components, pipes, directives will be present in the declaration block, okay. What will be there in the providers block?
Services.
Services will be present in the providers block, okay. And the bootstrap, if it is the starting module, it will contain this extra parameter bootstrap. This is the starting component of the application. Understood? Okay.
Yes, Anusha.
So if you see here, it contains these modules called exports, which means that these are all can be exported to anywhere else like that. For example, if you are seeing mat autocomplete module, okay. Now it has been provided in exports means it can be imported anywhere else. That is the meaning. Understood?
Yes, Anusha.
Okay. And okay. Now let me explain this Angular material one, Wala. Okay. You can see the starting component is this card action sample component. Am I correct?
Yes, Anusha.
Suppose if we go to the HTML, it contains one tag called mat card. Okay. This mat card is used for creating this round card. You are seeing, right? This white color round card. This card is called as a mat card. Okay. If you want to display any HTML like this card, then we will be using something called mat card. If you want to give some title, for that purpose, we will be using one tag called mat card title. And that's why you are able to see action buttons here. Okay. And if you want to give again a subtitle, then you will be using here called mat card subtitle start. Okay. Suppose if this card performing is any actions, like in the Facebook we will have, right? In the Facebook we will be seeing the news feed, one person's card, where you will be given some options like, share, react, everything, correct? Those are called as actions that you are doing. Whatever you are doing is called as actions. Here the mat card action means what and all actions we can perform on this card that are presented with buttons, like we can like this card or we can share this card like that. So if you want to use anything of this structure, you will be using this mat card HTML. It is provided by Angular material. Understood? Shall I repeat it once more?
Yeah, repeat it again, Anusha.
Okay. Now let me explain with a different example here. Okay. So you are seeing a different things here. This is like Facebook, right? Facebook post. Are you feeling like that? Yes or no? It's like a Facebook.
Yes.
Yes, Anusha. Yes.
Okay. Suppose this is one mat card. For declaring a card, you will use the tag called mat card. And what is the class used for what is the class used to here?
Example card.
Okay. What is that? Why is that class used for?
For CSS, for doing any CSS.
For defining the CSS. Okay. And you can see some extra parameters called header. Okay. There is something called mat card header. In this, they are giving that image, which is this image. Okay. And in this mat card title, you can see Shiba Inu. Okay. And subtitle dog breed. Okay. And if you want to give some content, that will be here. Okay. And if you want to give any actions like buttons, you can give it mat card actions, which will be present at the footer. Okay. This is called header section. This is called content section. And this is called footer section. So for header section, you are using something called mat card header. Okay. Which containing mat card title and mat card subtitle. Okay. And for content, you will be giving something like mat card content, And for footer, you will be using something called mat card actions. Understood? Suppose if you place these two buttons inside here, it will be present inside the content. Okay. Suppose if you want to give only in the actions that is in the footer, you will be using this tag mat card actions. And you will get to know what and all by you looking at the example here. So for each and every purpose of a tag here, they will be giving the example. With this example, you can learn it. Okay. Like what is used for what purpose and all. Even this is available. You can see the code will be available here. You can see there is something called mat card title, subtitle. Okay. And for grouping the title, we use this mat card title group. Okay. And there is some mat card content like that. Understood? Any doubt? So
No, Anusha.
what I mean is, if you want to create something like this using the HTML, it will be very difficult because you need to write a lot of CSS in order to achieve this. So instead of writing all this shit, so what they have provided some inbuilt HTML tags. So if we are directly using those tags, we will achieve this desired uh, look of the particular content. For that, we will be using material in the Angular. In the material, there will be this inbuilt tags which we can use in our projects. Understood?
Yes, Anusha.
Suppose if you want to use this mat card in your component, okay, you need to import mat card module in your module file. Understood? Suppose if you want to use this mat card HTML in your file, okay, your module has to import this mat card module. That this declaration also will be given here. You can see, right? API reference for Angular material card. This reference of the smart cards will be available in this module. You need to import it, then you will be able to use this smart card HTML tags. Understood?
Yes, Anusha.
Okay. Now let me show you one more example. You know checkboxes, right? For selecting the multiple things, we have this checkbox. Suppose you see, if you want custom behavior like this, okay, what you can do, you can use the mat checkboxes. Okay. And if you want to use mat checkbox, you need to import this mat checkbox module in your module file. Then you will be able to using it. And here is an example given. This is one checkbox. This is another checkbox. Okay. And this is one more different kinds of checkbox. And this is one different kind. Okay. So you can see all the code here. Okay. So you can see mat checkbox, checked, indeterminate. On the change of checkbox, what method should be called. Okay. These are all things will be available. Understood? Suppose if you want to use
Yes, Anusha.
material checkbox, which is the tag used?
The question once.
Sorry, can you repeat it?
Repeat the question once, Anusha.
If you want to use material checkbox in your component, then what is that tag which you will be using?
Material checkbox.
It's material checkbox.
Mat checkbox. You are seeing here, right? Mat checkbox.
Okay.
This is the tag which you should use it. And you will get the example here. The selector is mat checkbox. Understood, right? And if you
Yes,
want to
Anusha.
use mat checkbox, this mat checkbox module has to be imported in your module. Understood, right?
Yes, Anusha.
Yes,
Other
Anusha.
than that, there are different things like button. Okay. Okay. Suppose if you want to use a normal button. Okay. Now you can use something like, I'll just show you an example. you can specify button, and if you give mat button attribute and the name of the button is basic, then what you will get, let me show it in different page. Then you will get this basic button, okay, which you are seeing above. Suppose if you give mat button and extra attribute color primary, then your button text will look like this blue color, okay. And if you are giving mat color accent, okay, you need not to give any CSS property, but you need to give this extra property in your HTML tag itself, so that you will be able to see this color for your button, okay. For one, you will be giving this extra attribute color one, okay. And if you see this button, you are able to see, right, there is some card like bounding, it is surrounded, right, the text is surrounded with some border, am I correct?
Yes, Anush.
Suppose if you
Yes.
want to use this kind of button in your HTML, then they are using something called mat raised button inside this button, so that it will provide you this thing, okay. If you are using mat raised button with the color primary, then you will be able to see this button, okay. And if you are seeing mat raised button with color accent, then you will be able to see this button, accent button. Similarly, if we are using mat stroked, this will be like that. So it is just an example of how we are using, that's it. Suppose if you want to use this, okay, button, this is also nothing but a delete icon with button, okay. For that, you will be using something like mat icon, which is acting as a button here. Material icon, the name of this material icon is more word like that. So there will be some inbuilt material tags will be available, material icons will be available, okay. For example, if you want to use this icon in your web page, okay, then so there will be actually some content will be given. This is not the correct website now. 1 second. See, here is the mat icons, okay. And see, if you want to use access this icon, you need to use something like mat icon, and the name of the button is accessibility, okay. Suppose if you want to use this icon, then mat icon and name is accessible. According to your requirement, in this you will search your buttons and you will provide this HTML tags, okay. And the mat means they are material, they are provided by Angular material, understood?
Yes,
You
Anush.
must have also seen these kind of icons in your mobiles, right? If you are opening any app or something, alarm clock, assignment, arrow, backup icon, which you will be seeing in Google, WhatsApp, right? This settings, calendar. So if you want to use calendar icon, it will be like calendar icon, mat icon, calendar today. It will provide this icon. That's it. Understood? Any doubt? Suppose if you want to use this delete icon, mat icon delete. Okay. Likewise, there is a list will be there. You can check and you can access it in your web page. Any doubt?
No doubt, Anush.
Okay. Apart from this button, we also have slider. You know slider, right? Just for selecting. Okay. Suppose if you want to use this slider, you need to use something called mat slider. There you can provide some minimum value. Minimum value means what is the initial value here? 1. What is the maximum value? If you select this, what is the value of slider? 5. Okay. Step
5.
0.5 means if you are moving one step, it is 0.5, 1, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, and 5 like that. each step value counted as 0.5. That is the meaning. Okay. Suppose if you are saying mat slider vertical, this is an horizontal slider, right? You will be able to see a vertical slider. Okay. That is the only difference. And if you want to use this mat slider in your material, you need to import this module. What is the module name?
Mat slider module.
Mat slider
Mat
mode.
slider module. Okay. And this is one example. This is one example. Okay. And this is one basic example. You can check it here. Even the code execution will be given here. Or if you want to see the code here itself, you can click on view icon and what they have used in the HTML and what is there in the TS and are they doing any CSS will be visible. Okay. Suppose if you want to see the example code of this slider, you can just click it here and this is the HTML which is used. This is the TS file. Okay. And this is the CSS like that. Even for button also it's like that only. You can just go here and you can see this is the HTML that is being used. In TS, this much is used. And in CSS, if we want to give any CSS, that will be specified here. Okay. And apart from this, we have something called autocomplete. Autocomplete example means suppose in the search bars, we will be searching, right? In Amazon or something like that. Suppose if you are trying to enter anything, those will be auto-filled sometimes. Do you remember? So for that purpose, you will be using autocomplete. Okay. And the tag is, if you see here, autocomplete tag. And the module used is autocomplete module. Okay. You can just take a reference of one example and you can explore yourself. And if you want to use mat icon, okay. And this is the, what is the HTML tag for mat icon?
Mat icon.
Mat icon. Okay. And the name will be given here. Okay. Or font icon name here. And if you want to use mat icon, you need to import this mat icon module. Okay. And for input boxes, these things. And expansion panels, you might be seeing this also. So if we click on this icon, this will expand. If you click on this icon, it will again close. So if you want to use this kind of thing in your Angular project, then you will be using one tag called mat expansion panel. Okay. And let me show you a brief example. You will be using something like mat expansion panel. And in this, is there any header? In the header section, you will be containing the title and what description. Title means whatever you are seeing here. Okay. Like personal data. Okay. And what description you want to see. And if there is any icon to show it or not. So those kind of stuff you will be able to see here. Understood? Description will be present inside it. But mat expansion panel content. Okay. Right now you will be able to see the title here. Understood? Any doubt? Any doubt?
No doubt on it.
Okay. And suppose if you want to use nav bar like a section here. Okay. Then you can use mat drawer content. And we need to import mat side nav module. And if you want to use slide me these kind of things, you can use mat slide toggle. And in order to use that tag, you need to import this module like that. If you want to use some table, okay, this is very important. So tables are, we are using it every day, right? So you need to use import something called mat table. You will be using something called mat table. Okay. Table or mat table, or you can directly use mat table here. And what content you want to show. And this is referenced as a column. Okay. And what is the heading and what is the, we will be describing the column wise here. This is the name of the column, and this is the what are the values in the column, like TDTH, right? This is again the name column. What is the heading and what are the values present? What is the heading and what are all the values present? So if you want to display anything like that, we use something called mat table. Okay. Suppose if there is any sorting available, like if you want to do some sorting kind of stuff. 1 second. Let me check where it was available. See, it will be sorted. Are you able to see? Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
So if you want to use that sorting, then what additional code will be there? You need to check. You need to use something called mat sort. Okay. Yeah, you are saying right, mat sort, which will do the automatic sorting. And in which order you want to do the sorting, either in descending order, ascending order, you will be mentioning it here, that you can do it. Understood? Any doubt? Just
Understood.
explore these things.
no doubt on it.
So it will be helpful for you in future. So whenever you go to any project, you search something like this mat. Okay. If you are seeing anything like this mat, that means your project is using something called Angular material, and explore each and everything how they are doing. Okay.
Okay, Anush.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Then bye-bye.
And
Bye, Anusha. Take care. Bye.
Bye.